You could be eating healthy foods right now that are quietly sabotaging your bone health. It's not about fear, it's about knowledge. We are going to uncover 5 surprising bone weakeners that might be in your kitchen. But do not worry, for every single one, we'll reveal its delicious, powerful rival, the food that actively builds you up. Let's swap weakness for strength. We discuss more than just calcium today. Bone is a living, complex tissue. It is constantly undergoing a vital process called remodeling, breaking down old bone and building new bone. This constant repair relies entirely on the precise nutritional fuel we provide. If that fuel is acidic, stripped of minerals, or pushes the body toward inflammation, your system is forced to compromise. It steals essential resources from its largest internal mineral reservoir, your skeleton, to maintain critical functions elsewhere. This is the mechanism of a true bone thief. Over this hour, we will identify 5 major dietary thieves. We will introduce 5 essential rivals that actively stop the theft and start the critical building process instead. This is your personal blueprint for resilience. If you are focused on improving mobility, reducing persistent joint stiffness, or simply preparing your body for a strong future, this guide is indispensable. Please take a moment now to subscribe and activate the notification bell. This simple action ensures you always receive our science-backed guides designed specifically for thriving in your best age. We begin with the first villain hiding in plain sight: excess sodium. High sodium is universally recognized for its link to high blood pressure, yet its insidious role in bone mineral depletion is often overlooked. This thief is highly deceptive. It is not just the salt shaker you use at the dinner table. It hides in astonishing quantities in packaged foods, canned soups, many frozen meals, fast food items, highly processed deli meats, and even simple bakery bread. When your sodium intake spikes, your kidneys must work urgently to flush out the excess salt load. Here is the critical problem. Salt and calcium share the same basic elimination pathway in the kidneys. When sodium levels overwhelm the system, the body aggressively prioritizes pushing out the excess salt. In this metabolic rush, calcium is carelessly dragged along for the ride. Why does your body choose salt over structure? Because maintaining precise blood mineral levels for nerve and heart function is more urgent than maintaining bone density. This mineral leaching effect is subtle, but cumulative calcium loss day after day, year after year, fundamentally weakens the bone matrix. The average adult consumes nearly twice the recommended daily sodium allowance. We are unknowingly washing away our bone density. The key to prevention is recognizing the invisible sodium sources. That prepackaged marinade, the commercial sauces, the restaurant entree, these are often the biggest silent culprits. Learning to read labels for sodium content is no longer a dietary suggestion. It is a fundamental act of bone maintenance. What is the powerful rival to excess sodium? It is potassium. Potassium is sodium's essential counterbalance. It actively influences the kidneys to hold on to calcium rather than excrete it. Potassium also helps neutralize the mild chronic acidity that a high-sodium, processed diet often creates. Think of potassium as the peacekeeper. It is a vital mineral that helps restore equilibrium to the body's mineral processing. Eating potassium-rich foods is the most proactive way to protect your bones against the destructive impact of excess sodium. Where do we find this potent rival? Look for nature's vibrant, unrefined sources. While bananas are popular, superior sources include sweet potatoes, avocados, spinach, and all varieties of white beans. A powerful, simple swap is choosing a homemade soup base over a canned soup, or choosing a baked sweet potato over heavily salted commercial fries. Another easy morning swap is an avocado on whole grain toast instead of bacon or salty breakfast sausage. These substitutions dramatically boost your potassium to sodium ratio. A diet rich in potassium is firmly associated with higher bone mineral density in older adults. This is a simple, delicious weapon against mineral loss. Make a conscious choice today to replace processed snacks with potassium powerhouses like beans or a simple baked potato. The second saboteur is sugary drinks and refined sweets. This category is immense. It includes all sugar-sweetened sodas, concentrated fruit juices, energy drinks, snacks high in high fructose corn syrup, and heavily refined baked goods. The destructive impact is dual-edged. First, many carbonated and processed sugary drinks contain excessive artificial phosphorus. While phosphorus is a necessary mineral, ingesting too much of it, especially from artificial sources like soda, disrupts the critical ratio with calcium. The body strives constantly for mineral balance in the blood. If artificial phosphorus surges, the body responds by releasing hormones that draw calcium out of the bones to quickly restore equilibrium in the bloodstream. Could a daily habit you believe is harmless actually be dissolving your joint structure? You are literally borrowing mineral strength from your bones to compensate for your drink choice. The second destructive mechanism is systemic inflammation. High sugar intake is a primary driver of inflammation throughout the body. Chronic inflammation is the enemy of joint health. It contributes significantly to the accelerated breakdown of cartilage, leading to persistent pain, stiffness, and reduced mobility. The body's chronic inflammatory response also releases chemical messengers called cytokines that actively accelerate the rate of bone resorption. Sugar is far more than empty calories. It is a proactive inflammatory agent causing specific damage in the joints and compromising bone maintenance. For women over 55, this chronic low-grade inflammation dramatically accelerates age-related deterioration. What is the powerful rival to refined sugar? It is mineral-rich hydration and antioxidant teas. The rival strategy here is twofold: superior hydration and high-quality mineral intake. Water is fundamental for joint lubrication and the efficient transport of nutrients. Switching from any sugary drink to plain water, perhaps flavored naturally with lemon or cucumber, immediately eliminates the phosphorus imbalance and the inflammatory sugar load. But we can fortify our beverages even further. Consider bone broth, which is an exceptional rival. Bone broth is rich in collagen and key amino acids like glycine and proline. These are the very structural components of the cartilage and connective tissues that naturally diminish with age. Sipping warm bone broth daily provides essential, bioavailable building blocks for your joints that simple water cannot offer. Another powerful rival is green tea. Green tea is densely packed with polyphenols, powerful antioxidants that actively neutralize the inflammatory damage caused by sugar. Research suggests that compounds in green tea may even help suppress the activity of osteoclasts, the cells responsible for breaking down bone. Green tea acts as both a protector for your joints and a vigilant guard against bone loss. A simple, actionable swap is replacing your habitual afternoon soda or sweet coffee beverage with unsweetened green tea or a nourishing warm cup of bone broth. This swap actively fights inflammation, dramatically improves hydration, and immediately halts the sugar-driven mineral leaching process. Small, consistent decisions like this define long-term resilience. The third saboteur is excessive alcohol and caffeine consumption. Both alcohol and caffeine are deeply woven into modern social and dietary habits. Used sparingly, they pose minimal risk. But when consumption becomes habitual and exceeds moderate levels, they become profound bone thieves. Let us examine alcohol first. Chronic, heavy alcohol intake is shown to directly interfere with the body's ability to activate and absorb vitamin D. Vitamin D is arguably the single most important vitamin for skeletal health. It acts as the key that unlocks efficient calcium absorption in the gut. If vitamin D absorption is compromised, the calcium you meticulously eat is largely wasted. Furthermore, alcohol can directly poison and inhibit osteoblasts, the critical cells responsible for building new bone tissue. Too much alcohol effectively slows down the entire remodeling process, leaving the skeleton weaker and more susceptible to fracture. Now consider caffeine. High habitual caffeine intake, specifically exceeding 300 milligrams per day, roughly 3 standard cups of coffee, is directly linked to increased calcium excretion in the urine. Which beverage delivers the silent 1-2 punch against calcium? Similar to sodium, caffeine acts as a mild diuretic, causing the kidneys to flush out fluids and inadvertently minerals. If your baseline calcium and magnesium intake is already borderline low, that daily high caffeine habit can push you into a chronic deficit, forcing the body to repeatedly steal calcium from the bones to maintain vital blood equilibrium. What is the powerful rival to this diuretic duo? It is turmeric, golden milk, and magnesium-rich smoothies. We are not advocating for complete abstinence from your morning coffee. The strategy is replacement and targeted fortification. We aim to replace the diuretic effects with highly nutrient-dense options. The ultimate rival is the turmeric golden milk latte. Turmeric contains curcumin, a compound extensively researched for its profound anti-inflammatory properties. Since joint pain is often rooted in chronic inflammation, curcumin is linked to reducing inflammatory markers, providing natural, soothing comfort for stiff joints. Mixing turmeric with dairy or fortified plant milk also introduces essential calcium and vitamin D, turning a simple drink into an active fortress builder. Another powerhouse rival is the magnesium-rich smoothie. This is your chance to maximize nutrient density in one quick meal. Focus on ingredients rich in magnesium, a mineral vital for maintaining optimal bone density. Magnesium is essential. It helps convert vitamin D into its active form and promotes its efficient uptake. Key additions include spinach, chia, and flax seeds, and nut butter. Your actionable swap is to moderate your coffee consumption to 1 or 2 cups and replace the subsequent cups with either a warm golden milk drink or a nourishing mineral smoothie. This strategy both reduces diuretic mineral loss and actively introduces powerful anti-inflammatory agents to soothe your joints. Remember that every glass you swap for a fortifying alternative is a critical investment in your future mobility and structural integrity. The fourth saboteur is improper preparation of nutrient-dense vegetables. This is a subtle yet crucial point in sophisticated bone nutrition. We correctly champion leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard. They are true nutrient powerhouses. However, some of these greens, particularly when consumed in large raw quantities, contain significant levels of compounds called oxalates. Oxalates are naturally occurring substances that can tightly bind to minerals, specifically calcium and magnesium, within your digestive tract. When calcium is chemically bound to an oxalate molecule, it becomes largely unavailable for the body to absorb. You might consume a very large raw spinach salad, convinced you are getting an immense calcium boost, but unfortunately, much of that calcium may be locked away, inaccessible to your bone maintenance crews. Are you canceling out the benefits of your healthiest vegetables? This does not mean spinach is harmful. It means the method of preparation determines its nutritional efficacy. Consuming large amounts of raw, high-oxalate foods without proper pairing can unintentionally block the absorption of the very minerals your bones desperately need. What is the rival to improper preparation? It is low-oxalate greens and targeted cooking techniques. The rival here is strategic and intelligent eating. First, we prioritize low-oxalate greens that deliver easily absorbed calcium with minimal interference. These essential greens include kale, broccoli, bok choy, and collard greens. These vegetables are also rich in vitamin K, the necessary traffic cop that directs calcium specifically into the bone matrix and away from soft tissues where it could cause problems. These are your true green powerhouses. Second, we employ strategic cooking techniques. Lightly steaming, boiling, or sautéing high-oxalate greens like spinach or chard significantly reduces their oxalate content. Cooking causes the oxalates to leach into the cooking water. If you discard that water, you effectively free up the locked minerals for substantially better absorption. Third, we implement smart food pairing. When you choose to eat a high-oxalate food, pair it intentionally with a separate, strong source of bioavailable calcium. For example, add ricotta cheese or yogurt to a side of sautéed chard, or sprinkle sesame seeds over cooked spinach. The calcium from the dairy or seeds binds to the oxalates in the gut, leaving the calcium content of the greens themselves much freer for absorption. Your actionable swap is shifting your primary green consumption from large raw spinach salads to steamed kale or roasted broccoli. Always ensure you cook high oxalate greens and drain the cooking water. This simple kitchen practice transforms a potential mineral blocker into an efficient bone builder. The final saboteur is insufficient high-quality protein intake. This saboteur often shocks many women, especially those who have worried that high protein might be detrimental to their kidneys or cause calcium leaching. This is a persistent misconception. The genuine, evidence-based danger for women over 55 is demonstrably low protein intake. Our physiological need for protein actually increases as we age due to anabolic resistance. Here is the simple foundational truth. Bone is not merely mineral concrete. It is a highly mineralized protein framework. Imagine a large structure. Calcium and other minerals function as the concrete. Protein, specifically collagen, functions as the steel rebar, the strong scaffolding that holds everything together. About 1/3 of your bone volume is composed of this vital collagen matrix. If you do not consume enough protein, your body cannot produce the necessary collagen to repair and rebuild that essential framework. Without adequate protein scaffolding, the mineralized concrete simply cannot adhere. If bones are living tissue, what happens when we stop providing the repair crew? Low protein intake leads directly to slower bone repair rates, measurable decreases in bone density, and accelerated muscle loss, which tragically increases the risk of falls and subsequent fractures. Furthermore, when protein is scarce, the body prioritizes protein allocation to critical muscle function over slower bone maintenance, meaning a protein deficit hits the skeleton hard. What is the powerful rival to insufficient protein? It is consistent, high-quality, diversified protein sources. The rival strategy involves ensuring you meet your protein goals strategically throughout the day. Protein must be integrated into every single meal. High-quality protein means sources that contain all the essential amino acids your body requires for efficient synthesis. Think broadly. Excellent protein rivals include Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, eggs, and oily fish like salmon. Salmon stands out as a triple threat. It provides protein for the bone matrix, calcium if the small bones are consumed, canned varieties, and potent omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are a crucial secondary benefit of this rival. They are intensely potent anti-inflammatories. They actively reduce the chronic joint inflammation that accelerates cartilage degradation. They function as the maintenance crew for your joints. Consistently incorporating fatty fish, walnuts, and flax seeds provides both the structural protein framework and the necessary soothing joint lubrication. Your actionable step is to make protein a central priority on your plate. Instead of a low-protein bowl of cereal for breakfast, switch to scrambled eggs or fortified Greek yogurt. For lunch, intentionally add lentils, beans, or a portion of fish to your meal. Aim for a substantial, palm-sized portion of high-quality protein at every major meal to give your bone scaffolding the consistent support it desperately needs for the rebuilding process. We have now successfully covered the 5 major saboteurs and their powerful proactive rivals. Let us quickly summarize the critical swaps we have learned today. We replaced dangerous excess sodium with potassium-rich whole foods like avocados and beans. We swapped sugary, inflammatory drinks for mineral-rich bone broth and protective green tea. We corrected improper preparation of vegetables by opting for steamed, low-oxalate kale and strategic cooking. And finally, we replaced low-protein, unbalanced meals with consistent, high-quality protein and essential omega-3 sources like salmon and lentils. These intelligent swaps are your most reliable pathway to lifelong bone and joint support. Now, let us address common practical challenges, especially for women in our community who have specific dietary needs. First, managing lactose intolerance. Many women must reduce or eliminate dairy intake due to digestive discomfort, inadvertently cutting off a traditional calcium source. If you cannot tolerate dairy, your focus shifts entirely to fortification and non-dairy sources. Look closely at plant milks, almond, soy, oat that are explicitly fortified with both calcium and vitamin D. Crucially, verify that the calcium level is 300 milligrams per serving or higher. Re-emphasize the power of fortified tofu, canned fish eaten with its bones, and those superior low-oxalate greens like broccoli. You can absolutely build strong, resilient bones without relying on a single drop of dairy milk. Second, addressing persistent joint pain. If you are managing ongoing stiffness or discomfort, your focus must lean heavily into the anti-inflammatory rivals we discussed. Prioritize omega-3 fatty acids from quality fish oil supplements or dietary sources like fatty fish, flax seeds, and chia seeds. Make anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric and ginger a daily ritual, perhaps in your golden milk or in evening meals. These natural compounds are linked to the regulation of pain and inflammatory pathways, helping to quiet the chronic systemic noise that leads to joint discomfort. Consistency is vital here. You may not feel an intense difference in a day, but daily inclusion creates profound, measurable long-term change. Third, optimizing meal timing and absorption. Our bodies are most efficient at utilizing key nutrients like protein and calcium when they are distributed evenly across the day. Avoid the very common pitfall of eating the majority of your protein or calcium during a single meal at dinner. Aim for smaller, consistent doses of protein and calcium in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This steady supply optimizes the muscle repair and bone remodeling cycles that are constantly ongoing, even while you sleep. This comprehensive 60-minute guide has given you the foundational, evidence-based knowledge required to shift your eating habits from merely defensive to highly offensive. You now understand that structural strength does not come from isolating one supplement. It comes from the powerful, synergistic collaboration of real, joyful food. Every single food choice you make is an opportunity to either compromise your bones or profoundly support them. Remember, building a resilient body for your future is a marathon based on daily habits, not a sprint based on temporary diets. We are building a fortress, one delicious, nutrient-dense ingredient at a time. Take what you have learned and immediately apply the swaps that feel easiest and most enjoyable today. Start with replacing one inflammatory drink with green tea this afternoon. Tomorrow, commit to adding potassium to your breakfast. If this guide gave you a crucial new understanding of how to manage your bone and joint health, please click the like button below. It helps the platform share this vital, evidence-based information with more women who need to hear this empowering message. Do not simply wait for the next guide. Take what you have learned today and put it into practice right now. You possess the agency to protect your mobility and ensure your golden years are lived with undeniable strength and confidence. Start building your fortress today.